Hey friends, a couple of months ago, I decided to finally hire a video editor for my YouTube channel. And I was getting so many applicants, it was getting almost impossible to keep track of them all. And so I knew I needed a better way to automate the process. But not only that, I wanted to use the power of AI to help me evaluate who was a good candidate and who was not, and use that as a way to filter through the applicants quickly. So in this video, I'm going to show you a simple automated pipeline that I built in NAN for the automation platform. We'll use Airtable to store all the data. And then finally, we'll use OpenAI to help us evaluate the candidates to see who is a good fit. So I'm going to be building this from start to finish. So if you want to follow along, you can. But if you're kind of in a rush and you want this sooner than later, and you want to download the blueprint for yourself, check out my school community using the link in the description below. Inside my community, you can find the blueprint for this NAN workflow. Okay, let's dive into the video. Okay, so before we jump into NAN, before we do anything, we should always outline sort of what our goals are, what pain points are we solving, and what tools that we want to use to solve the problem. And then we'll hop into this process map that I built, which I recommend you always start with a good process map that will help you in your development. So you have a good roadmap of where you're going to start and when you're going and where you're going to end. And then we'll jump into the actual building of the application. So the goal, let me make it a little bit bigger for you. The goal is to build a job application system where users can upload a resume in PDF format. The automation that we're going to build will extract key information from the PDF and then automatically dump that into our database. So things like skills, employment history, references. We'll use AI to evaluate the candidate and then update our database. So this is important because we're going to be using AI to help us evaluate whether this candidate is a good person that we should move along in the application pipeline. If they're not, then we'll just stop it right there. But if there's someone that we want to talk to, we're going to use AI to help us move this process along a bit quicker. And then finally, we'll send an email out to the hiring manager, letting them know that someone has submitted a new application and to go check it out. Okay, so what are the pain points that we're solving with this system? Like, why are we even building this? Well, some businesses may still be stuck with manual resume submissions and sorting. So this system will automatically extract key data from the PDFs, from the resumes, the things that are most important, and then it'll also rank them according to those criteria. So this is going to make the process of going through resumes a lot faster. This is going to, with the Airtable we're going to be using as our database, it's going to give us one central place to look at all of our applications. So some businesses might be, they've got emails or Slack or Google Drive or different platforms, but we're going to bring everything together in one central place, which means it's easier to access and it's also accessible by multiple people. Another problem this will solve is slow response times. If in the traditional route you may send off a resume. I know I've been through this process myself. You send off a resume, you just never hear back. You don't even know if they got it. So this process will allow the candidate to know that we got their application right away and they have instant confirmation. We can also even, if we wanted to, make this a system where if we wanted to reject someone right away or reject someone during the pipeline, we can do that using the system. Another problem this is going to solve is inconsistent applicant review. We're going to use AI to evaluate and score each applicant, looking at their resume, and to help us standardize evaluations. So it's going to be the same system of evaluation for every single applicant. Another problem this is going to solve is no tracking for hiring status. So we'll allow, through the interface we're going to build in Airtable, this is going to allow the hiring manager to easily visualize who's applied, who's been interviewed, who's been hired or rejected. So this is going back to like your status of the applicant. We're going to have a nice visual dashboard where a hiring manager could easily see the status of each person. Another pain point is limited hiring tools. This provides automation without needing expensive HR software. So there's definitely tools out there that already do this, but maybe they're expensive. They have monthly recurring costs or some sort of subscription. This would eliminate the need for all of that. And finally, it's going to filter out unqualified applicants much faster. So we're going to use AI and some validation logic to screen out people who are not a good fit. So it's going to save us a lot of time because we're not going to spend time. The hiring manager is not going to spend a lot of time going through applicants that are not qualified. So the tools we're going to be using to build out this application is NAN. This will be our automation platform. We'll use Airtable as our main database and also for the nice user-friendly interface for the hiring manager. We'll use ChatGPT as the LLM. And we're going to use fillout.com for the form that the user will use to submit their resume. Okay, so let's hop over to Excalidraw. I use this for all of my builds. I recommend you do the same. I recommend that you take some time to build out a process map for all your automations. This is going to help you save a lot of time down the road. So essentially what we're building is a resume pipeline. This is sort of the scenario I came up with for this demo. We're building a resume pipeline for coaches or consultants hiring a virtual assistant. So that's sort of our scenario, but this platform can really be used for any environment or context. So as far as a flow, we're not talking at this point about any specific tools, but the basic flow is the user will go to the form, fill out the form, put in their name, email, upload their resume. It's going to submit that information to our automation platform, which is NAN, and then we'll put that into a database. That's like a top level view. Now, if we drop down into a more detailed, granular view, what does this look like with automation, with NAN, and all the available tools we have? So I kind of just drew an arrow down here to save myself some time. I'm having to put another form module. But basically, again, the form is submitted. That goes over to NAN with a webhook. So the webhook is going to listen for any form submissions from fillout.com. We're going to make an HTTP request to request that PDF from fillout.com. We'll use a specific node to extract the data from that PDF. So basically, we're going to use NAN to read the contents of that resume. And then we have a couple different opportunities here to use AI. So the first thing we're going to do is use AI to extract the skills. We'll use another node to extract the work history. We'll use another one to extract the references. And the final chance we're going to use AI is to actually evaluate the candidate based upon the resume. So I like to break up the nodes, the different LLM nodes, and to do different tasks. I find that it helps the AI perform better when you give it very specific tasks and not try to give it 20 million tasks at one time. So that's why I have 4 separate AI nodes in the workflow. Finally, we're going to add that new applicant to the database, and then we're going to send an email. We can send the email to the applicant, to the hiring manager, or both. So that's basically what we're going to build. Okay, so what's next? Let's start with the form. Let's start with the form that the user is going to use to submit their application. So what you want to do is go to fillout.com and create a free account. This is a really slick looking form builder that's similar to like Typeform. So we're going to create a form. Again, this is free. It's pretty cool. So we'll click on Create Form. It's going to give us a couple options. Let's just choose blank form to start with. And then you have the option here to choose a theme. And I like this one. Okay, looks pretty cool. Hit Create Form. All right, name your form. We'll call it Job Application Form. I already had that from a previous, from before. Let me do this. We'll call it Job Application Form for hiring a VA. There we go. Okay, so now since we started with a blank form and not a template, we have to start building out our form. So all you have to do is come here on the left-hand side and drag and drop your first form element onto the screen. We'll call this first name. And over here on the right, we want to make this required. So right here, there's a radio button. Just click that, and now it's required. And you'll notice when I did that, there's like a little asterisk next to first name, letting the user know it's required. We'll do this again for last name. We'll make it required. We want email. Make it required. And then finally, we're going to give them the ability to upload a file, which is file uploader. Here it is. And it'll say upload a PDF of your resume. So there's also some logic and stuff you could do here with this. So again, we'll make it required. Let's see. I think you can make it where it's only one file. We'll change the minimum files to 1, maximum files to 1. That way, they only upload 1 file. And file size, we won't worry about that. Advanced. Well, here we go. Limit the accepted file type. So let's change this to PDF. There we go. Perfect. Now you can also do DOCX, DOC, etc. But we're just going to keep it simple and stick with PDF for now. And that's pretty much it. There's our form. So the first thing we want to do now is just publish the form. So we hit publish. Good. But we're not done yet. Now we need to integrate this form. Well, let's just preview it first. So this is what it looks like. And if you hit submit, you see that the required fields is working properly. So that's pretty cool. Let's exit preview. Okay, so we want to integrate this over into NAN. So how do we do that? So you click on integrate. And we can choose webhook right here. This is what we're looking for, webhook. Now it's asking for the webhook endpoint, or the URL, sorry. So now what we're going to do is hop over to NAN, and I've got my blank canvas here for this demo purpose. So we'll just click on add first step. We'll search for webhook. And so all we need to do is just click once to copy the URL. We'll paste that in to the input field, and then let's test it. So let me go back. Let's save it. Let's click on test workflow. So now, right now, this webhook is listening for a request from fill out form. And we hit test. And we get an error. This webhook is not registered for post request. Oh, yes. So we have to change this request, or I'm sorry, this webhook to a post method because it's going to be getting data from the form. We're not just calling it from the URL, we're actually post data from the form. So let's change it from get to post. And then we'll hit save. Let's click on test workflow again. And then click on test. And there we go. So that was successful. So if we double click now, we'll see that that was successful. Form submission from fillout.com. You see here we have first name, last name, and email, and PDF. It's all blank now because we're just testing it. But that's great news, right? Now we have connected Fillout to our workflow in NAN. So what do we do next? Let's click on Finish Setup. And we'll click on Publish Now. And let's try this out. Copy. Okay. So Fillout. Okay, so this would be the URL that you would send to your send out to people to upload their resume. So let's do this for real. Let's go over to NAN, click on Test Workflow, and let's just try it out. So I'll put my name, Jonathan, my email. Now let's see what happens if I don't put a resume. Click Submit. Okay, see, it says please upload at least one file. Perfect. So now we know our validation is working. Let's try breaking it. Let's try uploading like something besides a PDF. So notice that I can't even choose like this file here as a docx. I can't even choose it. So that's pretty cool because fillout.com is already validating the form type or the resume type and saying you can only choose PDFs. See, I can't choose JPEG. I can't choose this EPS. I can only choose PDF. So that's pretty cool. So I have my wife's resume here in PDF format. So let's just click on that. And let's hit, so I waited for it to upload, hit submit. And boom, here we are back in NAN. And here we go, perfect. So now first name contains Jonathan, last name contains Richey. The email is my email address. And then for the resume, notice we have two values here. We have a URL. So this is the URL of where the PDF lives, which is on the server over at fillout.com somewhere. And this is the name of the file. So Diane Richey resume test.pdf. Perfect. So now everything seems to be working according to plan. Okay, so what's next? We need to, well, let's follow our process map here, right? So let us request a PDF. Okay, let's go back to, I don't need this anymore. Let's keep it open. Okay. So the next thing according to our process map is to request the PDF. We'll do that with a HTTP request node. So what we need to do is use method get. And all we have to do now is just pass the URL of the resume over to our URL setting and then click test step. And then there it is. There's the data that we got back from the request. Perfect. That's working. Next thing we need to do is extract the data from the file. So we'll click look for extract from file, and then you get more options. So we'll say extract from PDF. And then here you don't really need to do anything. It's just going to take the data from the previous request. So if you click on test step, boom, there you go. So right here, this text, this is all the data of the PDF right here. So it just grabbed all the text from the PDF for us. Great. So everything seems to be working good so far. Okay, what's next in our process map? Okay, the next thing we're going to do is extract the skills. So let me show you the resume right here. So my wife's resume, she has a skills section. So we want to extract the skills section and put that into, later we'll put that into the database. But right now we just want to extract just the skills. We want to know what skills the person has. And we're going to do that with OpenAI with ChatGPT. So how do you do that? Let's save this. Okay, what we're looking for here is, what's it called? Basic LLM chain. There it is. We want to change the source for the prompt to define below. I was trying to figure out what the role should be. So I actually had to ask ChatGPT to help me think through what the role would be, whether it was a writing assistant or something else. But here's what I came up with ChatGPT's help. You are an expert hiring manager. Your task is to evaluate the provided resume and extract the skills of the applicant. Now, even though my wife's resume has a specific section for skills, it's also going to read everything else and try to figure out what her primary skills are. So it's not just the skills section. And some people's resume may not even have a skills section, right? Because every resume is different. But it's going to evaluate and say, what are the strengths of this candidate? What are they really good at? So that's what we're trying to evaluate. So you're an expert hiring manager. Your task is to evaluate the provided resume and extract the strengths and strengths and skills of the applicant. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Okay, I also have to give it the data of the resume, which is over here, and drag over text. There we go. Okay, so there we go. So here is the provided information of the resume, and we're telling the AI to evaluate that. Now, the next thing we need to do is attach an LLM to this. So we'll click on the plus sign and look for OpenAI. Now, you can use any LLM that you prefer, but I prefer to use OpenAI because I have an account with them. I've already got an established connection, and I'll just choose, for my model, I'll just choose ChatGPT 4.0 latest. Okay, so let's test it out. Okay, it's based on a thorough evaluation of Diane Richey's resume, here are her key strengths and skills, and it gave me a whole bunch. Okay, so it's kind of working. It's kind of hard to see, but I think this is fine. That'll work for now. We might come back later and tweak the output, but it's fine for now. Like, actually, I don't want it to say based on a thorough evaluation. So we'll say only list out the skills in a list format, nothing else. Do not output any markup. Let's try it one more time. I just want to see. Yeah, there we go. So now it's not a nice list format for us. It doesn't say anything like, based on my evaluation. It doesn't say anything like that anymore, right? It's just giving us a nice bulleted list of her strengths, of her skills. Perfect. Okay, so that accomplishes that part of the process map. The next one is to extract the work history. So we'll go back. Now we can just copy this and do something very, very similar. Again, we'll attach our OpenAI. Now we need to tweak the instructions, right? You are an expert hiring manager. Your task is to evaluate the provide a resume and extract the work history of the applicant. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Applicant. Only list out the job history in a list format, nothing else. Do not output any markup. Okay, so let's click on test step. So this is trying to grab all her work history. And there it is. Office administrator, customer service rep, etc., etc., etc. Perfect. I think I need to change this one to applicant. Okay, and the last one is the next one is the references. Okay. We'll copy paste again. Whoops. Again, we gotta give it an LLM to use. So you can use just getting around the canvas. You can use these buttons here to zoom in, zoom out. You can use the little, it's called tidy up, and it'll zoom out and show you everything. Zoom to fit. What does that do? I've actually never. Okay, so I use on my keyboard. I'm clicking on the control button and use my mouse to zoom in, zoom out. Okay, let's see. What was I talking about? Sorry. Extract references. Yes. Okay. Your task is to evaluate the provided resume and extract the references of the applicant. Only list out the references in a list format, nothing else. Okay, let's test it out. No, that's not right. Hold on. Getting some weird that's weird. It gave me the history again, not the. Oh, you know why? Oh, interesting. The text is pulling from the previous. Okay, so it's evaluating the text, and the text from the previous node is the job history, right? Job history was this one. So I need to change that to pull from the original extraction, which is here. There we go. So let's try it again. There we go. So now we have people's names and their phone numbers, and these are people that she listed out as her reference. So that was interesting. I'm figuring this out as I'm going along. I'm building it live with you. So there's bound to be some mistakes. That's okay. What's next? Oh yeah, finally we want to just look at the overall candidate and evaluate them. So I already have the, let's see. I already have the prompt in place, and I'll show you to you here in a second. I actually used ChatGPT to help me think through the prompt. And again, we need to make sure we're grabbing the full resume here. All right, so here's the prompt that I have. Okay, it says you are an expert hiring manager. Your task is to evaluate the resume provided below and give it a score from 1 to 5 based on the candidate's qualifications for the role described. Here's what you should consider: relevant job history, total years of experience, specific skills and tools, industry knowledge, education, clarity and professionalism on the resume, And then we're going to rank them from 1 to 5, with 1 being a poor fit and 5 being an excellent fit. Actually, I'm going to put in a different one. I needed to tweak this specifically for a VA, which, remember, this is our scenario, right? We're hiring for a virtual assistant. So I had to tweak. Here we go. You are an experienced hiring manager tasked with evaluating candidates for a virtual assistant position. And then the rest of it's okay. So it says evaluate the following criteria: administrative and organizational experience, communication skills, familiarity with tools like Google Workspace, CRMs, project management software, etc. Attention to detail and time management, previous remote work, virtual work experience, proactive problem solving, and self-management. And then it gave me a job description, a title, managed scheduling, inbox, light research, client communication, task tracking, basic admin duties, must be self-motivated, organized, and tech savvy. And then here we'll put in the resume. Okay, cool. So, if you were hiring for something different besides a VA, you can use ChatGPT to help you come up with this prompt that is specific to the job that you're actually hiring for. So you could use this for anything. And then our output it says respond in this format: a score 1 to 5. And then finally, the reasoning of why the AI gave that score. Okay, cool. So let's test it out. Let's hit test step. So the AI gave her a score of 3. And then it says 3 is a moderate fit. So not a 1, not a 5, somewhere in the middle. And then it gave the reasoning. Diane Richey demonstrates a solid admin background with several years of professional experience in customer service, account management, and supervising front-end staff. Below is an evaluation based on the 6 core VA criteria. And then it lists out all the reasons why it gave her that score. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see here. Let's save it. What's next? So now we need to add a new record to the Airtable. This is our database. This is where we're going to be hosting all of our data. So let's hop over to Airtable and let's create a brand new workspace or a new base. We'll start from scratch. We'll call this job application base. Cool. We will change the first default table, rename it to, we'll just call it applicants. And each record should be called an applicant. Hit save. There we go. Let's see. Let's change this to, I'm trying to think what's the best way to store this. So we could do, let's do this. First name. What we're going to do is make name their full name. So it's going to be a combination of first name, last name. So that's our unique key. So no two people are going to have the same first name, last name. Well, maybe. But we're going to make that our key. And then we're going to have separate fields for first name, last name. Because we can, when we're sending out emails and things like that, we always want to just use their first name. So it's nice to have that in a separate field. We'll keep status. Let's see. We'll change our statuses to new. And let's see, we talked about let's see, we'll do we'll change. Here's our status. Interview to be our next one. Hired will be our next one. And then we'll do rejected as the last status. Okay. Hired, rejected. Okay, there we go. And the default will be new. It's safe. Okay, cool. Get rid of these. All right, what's next? We need the resume file name. And we need the resume URL. We need the, what did we extract? We extracted their skills. Let's see, we'll make it a long text, skills. We extracted their work history. And we're going to extract their references. And we need to add in the evaluation. So we'll call it AI evaluation. There we go. I think that's everything. So now I think we're ready to actually start taking, so the next step here would be to actually add this into the database. Okay, so back in NAN, let's click on the plus here and just look for Airtable. We're going to create a record. Now you're going to have to create a access token to create a connection to Airtable. I've already done that, so what I can do now is just choose my base, which is going to be job application base, and then the applicants is the table. And now we just need to manually copy this stuff over. So let's see. Let's see. From the webhook, we're going to have their name, right? That's from the form. So first name. No. Sorry, that's not right. Let's grab the value. The value. We'll grab the value of last name. The status will be new. Let's see, where is, oh, I forgot email, didn't I? Great. Let me go back. Let me go back and add email. And there's actually an email field, I believe. Email, there it is. Email. Let's put it over by the name. Okay, so now go back to NAN. We're going to have to click this little refresh button here, and it will refresh the fields for us. So now email is appearing. Perfect. Now first name, last name, what we could do here is just append first name, last name together. So let's go back and do a couple different ways you could do this. This is the easiest way. Okay, so now that evaluate to Jonathan Richey. There we go. Perfect. And now we want the resume file name, which is Diane Richey resume test. And we want the resume URL. Okay, and now we got to add in the skills. So that's going to come from one of our LLM chains, right? The first one we did was skills, so that goes here. Next one, I probably should have renamed these, but here's the work history. And the next one was the references. And the last one was the AI evaluation with the scoring. Okay. So what we can do now is just Let's just test it. See what happens. Hit test up. Boom. So now, there we go. I don't know why we have 3 empty rows, but there we go. See, that's not right. I knew that wasn't right. Let me try that again. It didn't have a space between my name. I need to put a space there. Perfect. Let's try again. Boom. There we go. Jonathan Richey. Jonathan Richey. Here's my email. Status new. Resume file name. I can click on this URL. It goes right to my her resume. Perfect. Admin skills. Here's all her skills. Here's her work history. Office manager, customer service rep, supervisor. Yep, that's all that's in there. References, and then score. And the reasoning behind it. Pretty cool. Great. All right, something that I want to try here that I didn't even think about was having the number 3 in its own column, right? So if I wanted to quickly see the score of a candidate, I don't necessarily want to read through all this. I just want 1 through 5. So how would I do that? Let's see. Let's call it AI evaluation score. We don't want a phone number. We want a number, and we want no decimals and crate field. Okay, AI evaluation score. So how do we populate that with just the number 3? So I think the way we have to do that is we have to extract it from the we have to extract it from the LLM chain 3 and probably put that into some sort of JSON output. So how do we do that? Good question. Probably need to add I think you have to add require specific output. Output parser. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, so what I did was I clicked on require specific output format right here. And then right here at the bottom right, you'll see output parser, which you can see it here. You can also see it here. So click on that. And then it says auto fixing output parser. Return the results as separate items. I think that's what I want. Or return data in a defined JSON format. What does that do? Number of items. I want 2 items. Interesting. Never used those before. Maybe that's not what I want. Let's try JSON. Interesting. So it's pulling. Oh, I see. So it's. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, I see. So you got to give it an example. So we'll do the score, and we'll call it evaluation. Example. So like this example could be 3, and then we will do applicant evaluation. Full applicant evaluation goes here. I think that is what we want. So I think it's going to give us this nice JSON, and then we can grab each part individually. Let's try it. Let's see. Perfect. There we go. So it gave me a score of 3, and then evaluation. There we go. evaluation is here. Interesting, it gave me okay, well that'll work. All right, cool. So it gave me basically a summary evaluation. So now when we're going to connect this over to Airtable, what does that look like to, here we go. So the AI evaluation is this. Evaluation and evaluation score will be here. So now if we run it and go back to Airtable, you'll see that interesting that the evaluation wasn't as detailed on the second one, but we did get 3. The candidate demonstrates a solid foundation in administrative organizational experience through several years of front-end management and account management roles. However, there is no indication of experience with modern virtual tools such as Google Workspace, CRMs, or project management. So because of that, it gave it a 3. Moderately qualified with core admin strengths, but lacks key virtual, work from home, and tech-specific elements. So, okay, that's fair. She didn't have specific knowledge or experience in these tools that we mentioned in our requirements list, which again, you can change that per your job application process. But I think 3 is a fair evaluation. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's get rid of this one. And let's see. So now that we have an applicant, how are we going to view this? I mean, if we had like 20 of these, right? This is not a great. I don't like working in the table view. It's not pretty. It's not attractive. And if you have people that are using this, they're not very tech savvy, this can be a bit intimidating or overwhelming. So I like to use interfaces. So what we can do is click on interfaces, and we'll build it ourselves, and we'll build an interface, and we'll call it job applicants, and hit next. And we're just going to start off with a list, and the table we're going to be using is applicants, and hit finish, and we'll hit publish, and not now. Okay, so there we go. So there is a very simple viewing of the applicants. So imagine again, if you had 20, 30 of these, this would be a nice way to view them all. This is pretty cool because you can group them, you can filter them, say I only want applicants where the status is, wait, why don't we have name? Wait, why can't I see my other stuff to filter on? Let me see here. We can sort it. I know we can sort it, but why don't we have all of our fields? Let's edit and take a look at it. Applicants. Let's see. Oh, I think you have to add other. Oh, I know why. You can't filter if nothing's not visible. So we need to add other fields to it. So like status. Right. So now that we have status there, let's publish it. Let's move status over to. I think you can. Oh yeah, right here. If you want to move these around, you have to do it in this drop down. So click on status and move it like up, like that. Something I forgot to add to the workflow that I probably need to add as well is a date and time. So let's go back and do that. So we have the date and time of when this was created. So we'll create a new field, call it date, include time. We'll call it created. Let's call it created at, and we'll default to current date. So create field. Okay. So if we try it one more time, go back to NaN. Let's test the step. And there we go. 8/3 at 6:50 p.m. Perfect. So now we have our date and time. Let's go back to interfaces. let's add that to our list of fields that we want to be visible. So fields will add created at, and let's move that to the front. Status, and then we'll hide name, email, and then we'll do the evaluation score. How about that? Okay. Cool. There we go. So this applicant was created on this date and time. This is the status. This is their name. This is their email. And this is their score. So what now? We can go back in here and edit this and allow us to view more information by clicking on the record. And you see this little open text. If you click on that, it says, do you want to allow users to open record details? And say, yes, I want to allow it. And then hit publish. There we go. So now if you have 20, 30 of these, all you have to do is just click on open and you get this little flyout window. And now you can see more information about this applicant based upon their resume. Let's see, you can click on that and see the resume. You can see their skills, their work history. Now, what you want to do now is be able to move them along in the application pipeline, right? So you want to move them from new to interview to hire to reject. So how would we do that? So let's go back and edit this record. For status, over here on the right, you can choose editable. And let's publish that. And what happens now is you can choose to update this applicant to different statuses. And as soon as you change it, it's going to save it to the database automatically. You don't have to click on submit or anything like that. It's already done. So that's pretty cool. Okay, what else can we do to make this look a little bit nicer? I don't like this long string in this resume URL. It's kind of ugly. So what we can do to fix that is go back to data. We'll create a new, I think it's a new button. Click on new button here. Okay, and then the button is going to, we're going to pull from it is the, what's the name of that field? Cancel, what's it called? It's called resume URL. All right, so button, I think you do it like this, resume URL, there we go. Blue label is view resume and click create field, boom. Okay, so we'll go back to interfaces and right here we will add open URL, there we go. So now all we have to do is we can hide this one and then publish that, cool. So now we click on view resume and now we have this nice button here instead of that long ugly text. And now what we can do is in this view, we can add that as another column like that and hit publish. Yeah, so now we can click on here and just view the resume really quickly from this view. Again, if you had 20, 30 of these, this is a nice way to view this information. So now we could sort by score. So if you had, people that had, hey, say, I want to see people who have 5s. So you would sort by that. And all the people with the 5s would be at the top. So what else could we do? Let's go back to a scalar draw. Oh yeah, we're going to send an email. So I just want to make sure. Oh yeah, the other thing that we could do, which I think I'm going to skip just for the brevity of this resume, of this demo, is when this status is changed here. So when you change this status, you could fire an automation off to go send an email to the prospect and say, hey, you've been moved from, we want to schedule, if you go from new to interviewed, right? You could fire off an email that says, hey, we'd like to schedule an interview with you. Here's a link to our Calendly or our Google Calendar link or whatever tool you want to use. Here's a link to go schedule your interview. And that can automatically fire off to that applicant, so you don't have to do it manually, saving you a ton of time. Okay, so let's go back to NAN real quickly. All we have to do now is just add an email module. This is pretty easy peasy. So we want to send message. We'll send a message to the hiring manager. So for myself, I'll just put my email address in here. Subject line is new applicant. We'll say, hey John, just letting you know a new applicant has been, actually, let's do this. Let's send it to we could send this, there's a couple of different ways to do this, right? We could send one email to the applicant, one email to your hiring manager. You can send the same email to both, but for now, for demo purposes, let's just send it to the hiring manager. Just letting you know, a new applicant has been added to the database. Let's add some HTML in here. Here is their info. So you could do something like name. So let's go back to webhook and Jonathan Richey, right? And their eval score. We'll go ahead and give them a score so they know what to expect. Score. There we go. Thanks, Dave. We got a lot of friends. We got a lot of friends named Dave. All right, so now we'll just send this email. Boom. All right, so I'll go to my Gmail account. And there it is. Hey, John, just letting you know a new applicant has been added to the database. Here's our info. Name, Jonathan Richey. Eval score 3. Thanks, Dave. I need to make that look a little bit better by adding another break to the end of that line. We'll send it one more time. Refresh. There we go. Oh, wait, I got to add a thanks. Man. Almost done. We're almost done. There we go. Okay. So you get the point. You can modify this as needed for that confirmation email. Okay, I think that wraps it up for our demo. This workflow is pretty powerful. I think we've satisfied all the different needs of based upon our process map, we've satisfied everything that we were trying to accomplish. So I think that's pretty cool. We also have a nice user-friendly dashboard for your hiring manager to go through all these applicants and quickly evaluate who's a good fit and who's not, and make a decision about who to hire next. Okay, I hope that video was helpful. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, leave a question in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.